Hi, good day everyone. So I'm assigned to discuss about the history of post-Renaissance art. So when we talk about post-Renaissance, it's itself an oversimplification because it lumps the many schools of art that follow the Italian Renaissance into one term. So the first century that under on the post-Renaissance art is the Baroque art. The Baroque art begins in the century 1600s to 1700s. The term Baroque derived from the Portuguese barroco, meaning irregular pearl or stone. It refers to a cultural and art movement that characterized Europe from the early 17th to mid 18th century. Baroque emphasized dramatic, exaggerated motion and clear, easily interpreted detail. I have some examples in Baroque art. The first one is the entry of the animals in Noah's Ark. This painting created by Jan Brueghel the Elder. It was created in the year of 1634. The picture represents the beard of animals entered into the ark. My last example is the painting by Artemisia Gentileschi. It titled Judith Slaying Holofernes. It was created between the year of 1612 to 1613. This art is about the story of Judith in which pinugutan niya ng ulo si Holofernes na isang general na lumusob at sumakop sa kanyang bansa. Itong si Judith, ito'y isang banal na batang balo mula sa Hudiyong lungsod ng Bitolia. Ang sumunod na century sa Baroque art is Rococo art. The Rococo art is the Rococo art begins 1700s to 1789. Rococo art, sometimes called a feminized version of the Baroque style, is associated with the aristocracy. Typically, the paintings depict aristocrats or aristocratic leisure time activities like courtship rituals, picnics in a harmonious natural environment, excursions to romantic places. I have some examples here in Rococo art. The first one is the Lac. It, it was painted by Jean Honor Progonard. The Lac created in the year of 1776 to 1779. The Lac reveals the intimacy of an embracing couple. This painting has become the symbol of an era and more precisely of the libertine spirit of the 18th century. My last example is the bouquet of flowers in a glass of water. It was created around 1770 to 1800s. This painting created by Anne Balier Costier. Bouquet of flowers in a glass of water. This works of time and it highlights the radiant, almost casual beauty of flowers. After the Rococo art movement, the neo neoclassical art flourished in the century of 1790 to 1830. The neoclassical movement coincided with the 18th century age of enlightenment. The neoclassical movement coincided with the 18th century age of enlightenment and continue into the early 19th century. Literally competing with Romanticism in architecture, the style continued throughout the 19th and 20th century and into the 21st. Neoclassicism is characterized by clarity of form, sober colors, shallow space, strong horizontal and vertical that render the subject matter timeless instead of temporal as in the dynamic Baroque works, and classical subject matter or classicizing contemporary subject matter. I have some examples here in new classical art. The first one is the date of Leonardo da Vinci. It was created by Jean Auguste Dominici Ingres in the year of 1818. The picture shown sa pagkamatay ni Leonardo da Vinci, and based on my research, the cause of death of da, Vin- Leonardo da Vinci is acute stroke that being described by Vasari biography. Last example is the coronation of Napoleon 1807. It was penned by Jacques Louis David. The picture shown about the coronation of Emperor Napoleon First, the first. It was happened in the Notre Dame de Paris Cathedral. After the New Classical movement, the Romanticism movement flourished in century 1790 to 1830, an artistic, literary, and intellectual movement that originated in Europe toward the end of the 18th century and in most areas was at its peak from 1800s to 1850. Partly a reaction to the Industrial Revolution, also a revolt against aristocratic, social, and political norms of the Age of Enlightenment, and a reaction against the scientific rationalization of nature. Validated strong emotion as an authentic source of aesthetic experience, placing new emphasis on such emotions as apprehension, horror and terror, and awe special that which is experienced in confronting the sublimity of untamed nature and its pictures key qualities that both new aesthetic categories. I have some examples here in Romanticism movement. The first one is Wanderer Above the Sea of Pag. It was painted by Caspar David Friedrich. It was created in the year of 1818. The art show and created by Friedrich on the year he married. Maybe it expressing his own personal struggle to tame his surging emotions for the sake of his young bride. Last examples in Romanticism movement is the Wrath of the Medusa. It was painted on the year 1818 to 1890. It was painted by Theodore Géricault. This work depicts the aftermath of a contemporary prince shipwreck. All survivors embarked on a raft and were disseminated by starvation before being rescued at sea. The last movement in post-Renaissance is realism. As the 19th century progressed, growing awareness of the rights of man plus the social impact of the Industrial Revolution caused some artists to move away from the idealistic or romantic subject in favor of more mundane subject depicted in a more true life style of naturalism, realism in the arts, the accurate, detailed, and embellished depiction of nature or of contemporary life. Realism rejects imaginative idealization in favor of a close observation of outward appearances. First example in realism is flagging in the Nivernais. It was spent in the year of 1849. It was spent by Rosa Bonheur. The picture represents an extremely realistic way. A group of oxen or baka that pull the plow together with the farmers. The last example is the stone breakers. It was spent between 1849 to 1850 by Gustave Courbet. The painting show about the two peasants breaking rocks as they were constructing a road. So that's all everyone. Thank you for listening.